All right, there's a new plan to once again change Fifth Avenue, but the proposal to improve bus and bike lanes is in for quite a bumpy ride. Critics of the plan to restrict cars from stretches of Fifth Avenue say it will cause major disruptions and then threaten economic recovery.
All right, supporters say the city deserves better transit. Riders deserve a better system. Joining us now, Danny Pearlstein, Policy and Communications Director for the Riders Alliance, along with Jerome Barth, who is president of the Fifth Avenue Association. All right, good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Okay, so doesn't seem to be a bunch of middle ground between you two. One of you wants to, first off, walk us through the plan to narrow down through traffic to add room for more bus lanes and more pedestrian sidewalk space.
Well, our understanding of the city's plan as it stands now, and thank you for having us today, is that there will be the installation of a bike lane on the east side of Fifth Avenue, which is the least controversial element of the plan, but also there's going to be a sectioning off, essentially, of Fifth Avenue into three distinct areas between 57th Street and 42nd Street. So you'll be able to drive southbound on 5th from 57th to 55th, but then you'll have to exit within that space. Then you'll be able to go from 55th to 45th, again have to exit, and then 45th to 42nd. And our belief is that it's going to create a lot of confusion for drivers on nearby streets. It's not going to significantly alter bus speeds. If anything, it might actually bring them down. And it's mainly, our number one argument is to say this is not the time. We're still in the midst of a pandemic. New York is still trying to recover. And there's really no pressing need to make bold changes on Fifth Avenue without consultation from neighborhood stakeholders at this moment.
Now, Danny, as you heard Jerome say there's no pressing time right now, that it could obviously hurt some of the businesses there in the area. What are your arguments for this, and why should we move forward with something like this, especially when you hear some of the arguments that are against it?
Well, throughout the pandemic, bus riders have really been carrying the city. 47% of bus riders are essential workers, and overwhelmingly, bus riders are low-income New Yorkers who've had to endure the slowest buses in the nation, despite the fact that we have the nation's largest, most heavily used bus system. And the mayor, to his credit, has decided to do something about it. And in fact, the plan that we're talking about today is actually a significant compromise with neighborhood groups like Jerome's and others in the neighborhood to consider their, concerns and accommodate them, even though, there hasn't been data brought to bear to show what the problem with the original plan was. And we've seen this time and again when the mayor has proposed bus improvements throughout the city, is critics fear the plan will cause disruptions and threaten economic growth, economic recovery, whatever it is. But in every case, we see that that's not what happens. It's not what happened on 14th Street. It's not what happened on Fresh Pond Road. It's not what happened on Main Street in Flushing. And in fact, what happens is there's better bus access, there's better access to communities, and there's better overall traffic reduction.
Now, Danny, though, would you concede that certainly those places you just listed are different than Fifth Ave, which is really in a world of its own as far as tourism, the holiday season, high-end shopping, foot traffic, et cetera, et cetera? I think the issue is probably with Fifth Avenue, and it seems like the arguments for it from the city are essentially they want to create some sort of walking thoroughfare, something you see in Paris or something, from Central Park down to Bryant Park. Is that in line with the argument you just made that it's about getting essential workers to work faster?
Well, it's both. And in fact, Jerome's organization has proposed a Paris-like solution to Fifth Avenue that has a lot of commonalities with what the city is doing in terms of wider sidewalks, better bike and transit access. So, I see a lot of common ground here. I don't see people really at odds, but what I do see is an urgency. And the urgency, is created, I think, in a lot of respects by the coming end of the administration and also by the pandemic, when bus speeds and reliability were really good through a lot of last spring. It was one silver lining out of a really terrible time. And the city, to its credit, has tried to, take hold of some of those improvements and make them permanent for the benefit of the 100,000 people who use Fifth Avenue as a bus route.
Denny, I mean, I think if you were looking at bus routes that needed improvement, you probably would want to take a look at the M11 going down south on 9th Avenue, because that moves a lot slower, actually, numbers-wise, data-wise, than does 5th Avenue. But I want to ask Mr. Bartho, as you heard Danny say, you have no evidence to show that this is going to hurt businesses in that area. Have you guys done any studies? Have you been provided any numbers that show that this would, in fact, hurt businesses in the area?
Thank you for your question. I think this is an interesting situation where neither side has data to back up what it believes, and it's really a question of policy and common sense on our end. Danny's right that there's a lot of commonality into a long-term goals for the area. What is more of the issue is the timing of the changes. You can see behind me, but buses are flowing very fast on 5th Avenue right now. As far as studies we've conducted, yes, we've done an extensive study of the buses on 5th Avenue. There's more than 40 bus lines on 5th Avenue now. And what we're finding was very interesting, which we've started to share with the city. Number one, that there's a stark difference between the local buses and the express buses, which serve different purposes on the avenue, with the express buses having a very, very small footprint on 5th Avenue in terms of people, both coming down and getting on, as well as almost 16% of the express buses on 5th Avenue are actually dead in it. They're empty of people. They're just going back to the depot. And there's a broader question to be asked of the city and transit of, does it make sense to use the #1 retail corridor in the world and the most iconic street in New York to just ferry empty buses, or in general to become the #1 arterial for fast buses? You know, every place should have its use, and it should be balanced. And we don't believe that the current policy of the city on 5th Avenue, which is #1 focus on buses to the exclusion of other modes of transport, makes sense.
All right. Danny and Jerome, it's a fascinating argument, really one that's going to continue to play out. This really seems to be the big argument about the future of New York. Is it a place where cars are welcome or where they're not? We appreciate both of you joining us today. To be continued, and unfortunately we're out of time. We appreciate it, though. Thank you.